Welcome to the talk on mental health. I would ask that you please put your questions in the chat and save them for the end. This session is being recorded, and our speaker today is a resident of Victoria. Nellie Parrish received her bachelor's in sociology from Randolph Macon College. During that time, she studied abroad in South Africa. Her experiences inspired her to pursue her master's in social work at Virginia Commonwealth University. She serves on the Southside Virginia Community College board and has provided clinical supervision to Longwood University and VCU students. She also serves on the ethics committee at VCU Health CMH, and she sees Dr. Parker's patients at CMH Behavioral Health in South Hill. So I will turn it over to you, Nellie.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Welcome to the March Core Talk. CMH Behavioral Health bridges the gap between mental health and our community. As you've heard, I'm Nellie Parrish, the licensed clinical social worker at CMH Behavioral Health, working alongside Dr. Parker. I provide individual therapy and community outreach on an outpatient basis. Part of what I'm going to do today is explain what that means, what it looks like, how it's different from what Dr. Parker does, outside of the obvious, which is he prescribes medication and I do not. Seeking mental health treatment, it can be hard and uncomfortable and really anxiety provoking. I'm going to attempt to give you an idea of what to expect at CMH Behavioral Health and who you can expect when you call or walk in. I'm also going to review a few treatment modalities, some of the most common disorders that I work with, how to access our services. I've included contact information for some of our major community partnerships. I have included some apps that can be used to manage depression and anxiety, but do not replace a trained professional. I'm going to share some exciting news about how VCU CMH is helping meet the needs of our community. And lastly, in honor of Social Work Month, I'm going to share a short video and shine a spotlight on my fellow social workers at CMH. Before I get started, is there anyone on the call today that has any initial questions that I can start mulling over and circle back to at the end? All right, well, let's get into it. Most of you probably know this is Dr. Parker, our psychiatrist and medication provider. He takes a holistic approach to patient care and customizes his treatment plans to his patients' individual needs. He says, I treat the individual more than the problem. Mental health issues stem from lots of things: stressors, interpersonal relationships, finance, marriage, employment, genetics. If I can help someone identify who or what is contributing to the problem, we can make it better. Our sessions build on one another. We both strive to assist our clients with achieving symptom stability. Patients schedule with Dr. Parker about every 1 to 3 months and typically focus on assessing functioning and managing medications accordingly. And next is the rest of our team. We have Bridget Jackson, our PAR, Deborah Morrison, our nurse, and Christy Mosley, our practice manager. One of the three are likely going to be the first person patients talk to on the phone and the first person they see when they walk through the door. On top of going above and beyond, these three are so compassionate and mindful of the fact that seeking mental health treatment, it's not like calling to schedule a dentist appointment. As I was saying, it can be really anxiety provoking. They also keep us running like a well-oiled machine, and for all of that, I am thankful. On to me. Using a holistic approach to therapy, I believe in creating a safe, judgment-free space for clients. I value goals and reasonable expectations while prioritizing balance. Sessions should be client-focused, nurturing and challenging, optimistic, and realistic. Most of my referrals come directly from Dr. Parker. They're either established patients of his or they're scheduled with him in the future, but in the meantime, they'd like to go ahead and start seeing me. I'm able to accept clients that are not and don't plan to see Dr. Parker, because maybe they're just interested in therapy and not medications. Maybe they're interested in therapy, but going to receive medication management from their PCP. Maybe they're going through a big adjustment, transitioning to college or changing jobs or going through a divorce, losing a loved one, and they just need an unbiased perspective, someone to bounce some ideas off of and to process. Engaging in therapy doesn't mean you need medication and vice versa. Just because you're prescribed psychotropic medications doesn't mean that you need therapy. Now, I've never met anyone that couldn't benefit from a little bit of therapy, but it's got to be on your terms. We provide outpatient services that include a broad range of treatment approaches for individuals battling mental illness. Two of my primary responsibilities are psychotherapy and psychoeducation. Psychotherapy, often called therapy, is when a person, family, couple, or group sits down and talks with a therapist or other mental health provider. Psychotherapy helps people learn about their moods, thoughts, behaviors, and how they influence their lives. They also provide ways to help restructure thinking and respond to stress and other conditions. Psychoeducation, sorry, I have to move my Zoom. Psychoeducation teaches people about their illness and how they'll receive treatment. It also includes education for family and friends, where they learn things like coping strategies, problem-solving skills, and how to recognize the signs of relapse. Family psychoeducation can often help ease tensions at home, which can help the person experiencing the mental illness to recover. Now I'm going to review some of the most common treatment modalities that I use to give you a better understanding of what you can expect during session. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on exploring relationships among a person's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. During CBT, a therapist will actively work with the person to uncover healthy patterns of thought and how they may be causing self-destructive behaviors and beliefs. By addressing these patterns, the person and therapist can work together to develop constructive ways of thinking that will produce healthier behaviors and beliefs. For instance, CBT can help someone replace thoughts that lead to low self-esteem. I can't do anything right. I can do this most of the time based on my prior experiences. Dialectical behavior therapy. DBT is heavily based on CBT with one big exception. It emphasizes validation or accepting uncomfortable thoughts, feelings, and behaviors instead of struggling with them. By having an individual come to terms with troubling thoughts, emotions, or behaviors that they struggle with, change no longer appears impossible, and they can work with their therapist to create a gradual plan for recovery. The therapist's role in DBT is to help the person find a balance between acceptance and change. They also help the person develop new skills like coping methods and mindfulness practices so that the person has the power to improve unhealthy thoughts and behaviors. Imagine your mind separated into three sections. You have your reasonable mind, which is where you keep your research, your logic, your statistics, and your past experiences. Then you have your emotional mind, which is where you keep your anxiety, sadness, anger, fear, stress. And in the middle, you have your wise mind. Wise mind is often described as the meeting of emotional mind and reasonable mind. It is considering both emotions and rationality. The more we reflect on what wise mind has to say, the more likely we are to do what works and be willing to tolerate any difficulties that arise along the way. This is the primary goal of DBT. Interpersonal therapy. I consider this a subset of DBT because DBT is often used when working with individuals with borderline personality disorder, and poor interpersonal relationships are a major part of that disorder. Interpersonal relationships are defined and include any relationship in your life with another person, even if it's short-lived or a long-term one, where you bonded with them to some extent. It can include family, friendships, romantic, professional. Interpersonal therapy focuses on the relationships a person has with others, with the goal of improving the person's interpersonal skills. In this form of psychotherapy, the therapist helps people evaluate their social interactions and recognize negative patterns like social isolation or aggression, and ultimately helps them learn strategies for understanding and interacting positively with others. Motivational interviewing establishes a supportive relationship between the therapist and the client, with the goal of helping the client develop a positive attitude towards change. For example, change talk can be elicited by asking questions such as, how might you like things to be different? Or, how does blank interfere with things that you would like to do? MI involves collaboration, not confrontation, evocation, not education, autonomy rather than authority, and exploration instead of explanation. Effective processes for positive change focus on goals that are small, important to the client, specific, realistic, and oriented in the present and/or future. Strength-based therapy focuses on your internal strengths and resourcefulness rather than your weaknesses, failures, and shortcomings. This focus sets up a positive mindset that helps you to build on your best qualities, find your strengths, improve resilience, and change your worldview to one that is more positive. Symptoms of mental illness can often overlap, as do the treatment modalities. One thing that you can always expect from me is that I'm likely going to take a strength-based approach. One of the criticisms of SBT has been that it assumes people have everything they need within them to solve any problems, and that's not the case. When you're in a dark place, it's hard to recognize your own strengths. SBT is about empowerment. It's about instilling hope. You're feeling so depressed, you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you can't function. But hey, you're here with me today. You got out of bed, you made the call, you took the first step, and now you've got a whole team to offer support while you take the next step, and the one after that, and the one after that. So we treat a wide range of disorders. These are some of the most common ones: depression, anxiety, adjustment disorders, panic disorders, grief, relationship stress, ADHD, mood disorders, self-harm, insecurities, psychotic disorders, personality disorders, PTSD, life changes, work stress, obsessive compulsive disorder, pre- and postpartum depression, low self-esteem, and trauma. You know, we are all recovering from something. Therapy offers a safe place to start sorting things out, healing, processing, self-exploration, changing, and acceptance. You know, it all starts with a conversation. I'm going to ask what brings you in today, and wherever that rabbit hole leads us, we're going to go. I'm not sure if you can see this. You can't, but it's my license. And it's in a frame that says, relax, I'm a social worker. I've seen worse. Regardless of the chaos in your life, the heaviness of your pain, your past, your grief, your shame, your guilt, your dark side. When you walk into my office, you can take a deep breath, because at least for the next 53 minutes, you're safe. Changing gears a little bit, and it may seem like I'm jumping around, but that's what social workers do. We jump around. You may have noticed the phrase holistic approach has been used more than once. A holistic approach means to provide support that looks at the whole person, not just their mental health needs. The support should also consider their physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. It includes advocacy, awareness, community outreach, navigating the system of support, collaboration with an interdisciplinary team, assessing your needs and explaining what resources are available in your area and the process of accessing them. You know, it's hard to focus on recovering from literally anything if you can't keep the lights on, or food on the table, or if you're not safe at home. And that, in a nutshell, is why we need more social workers. That being said, how do you access help at CMH Behavioral Health? Currently, our practice offers outpatient services to individuals between the ages of 18 and 65, with a primary focus on mental health. Our services help clients cope and heal through urgent, short-term needs or chronic mental health concerns. We accept all insurances except UHC Exchange and Anthem Care. VCU also offers a financial assistance program, and I've included the link. We offer in-person individual therapy with the capability of telehealth appointments. I schedule Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Dr. Parker is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. He does not work Wednesdays. And please note that clients engaging in telehealth appointments must be within the Virginia state line during the time of their appointment. So we have several clients that live in North Carolina. They can engage in telehealth even if they live in North Carolina, but at the time of that appointment, they must be within the Virginia state lines. So we've had clients that have gone to the rest stop and engaged in a telehealth appointment there in Virginia. You can call our clinic directly or ask your primary care provider for a referral. Now I want to highlight a few exciting things that VCU CMH is doing to meet the needs of our community. One of the issues I've seen a lot of since I started is grief. And a few weeks ago, I thought, gosh, I wish we had a grief support group. Never fear, CMH Community Hospice is already on top of it. Monthly support groups for those experiencing grief and loss are held the second Tuesday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30 in rooms 1113 and 1114 of the care building. Next is Feed More, and VCU CMH provider practices are working together on an initiative starting in early March. Actually, it has already started officially. Our practices will utilize a screening for food insecurity on all patients at initial visits and at least annually during the initiative. Should a patient's screening reflect a positive score, meaning there is a food insecurity actively present, our team will provide a shelf-stable food box weighing about 11 pounds and equaling about 13 meals. The goal with our initiative is to fill an immediate need and then refer the patient to Feed More, who will screen further and provide a long-term resource. VCU Mobile Health and Wellness Program. It's for young and older adults and families with or without insurance in need of care coordination, health and wellness support. This may include nursing, pharmacy, medicine, occupational therapy, legal services, physical therapy. It's every Tuesday from 8:30 to 3:30 at SVCC, the Christiana campus in Alberta. Next, I've included some links to community resources, and not all of them are on our website, but we are working to get that updated so that these links will be available to you. It includes a suicide prevention hotline, National Alliance on Mental Illness, REACH for individuals with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities. There's a link to all of the Virginia Department of Social Services. Robin's Hope has several virtual and in-person support groups. There's AA and NA links. Virginia Sexual and Domestic Violence Action Alliance. There is a link to a complete list of your local area agency on aging, National Center for Healthy Veterans, and Virginia Transgender Resource and Referral List. Here's the contact information for the community services boards in Southside, South Central Virginia, but I've also included a full list for Virginia CSBs. We often refer to CSBs for substance use treatment, case management, and mental health skill building services. Since we are in such a technological world, below is a list of free apps that can be a valuable tool in managing anxiety or stress. The listed apps provide various strategies such as meditation, soothing music, and breathing techniques. Anyone can benefit from these apps, but they do not take the place of a trained professional. And finally, I want to share a video with you in honor of Social Work Month. And the audio isn't working, so I apologize for that. And finally, I want to say thank you to my fellow social workers at VCU CMH. So thank you, Stephanie Kuel, LCSW, Hospice Social Worker, Volunteer Coordinator, Samantha Lewis, BSW, Bereavement Coordinator and Social Worker, Pamela Merrill, LMSW, Clinical Social Worker, Hospice and Home Health, and Jane Allen, BSW, and Licensed Nursing Home Administrator at the Hunley Center. Today's takeaway is really that you're not alone. At VCU CMH, you have a community of people who support you. We're also committed to delivering healthcare in a manner that respects diversity and inclusivity, with the full intent of ensuring an optimal patient experience and achieving better health outcomes for all. So, thank you for having me. Are there any questions?
Feel free to unmute your microphones or put them in the chat and I'll read them to her. Nellie, I was curious why we don't see patients over 65.
So that's sort of a specialty population. You have adolescents, children, and then you get into the geriatric population. And as the brain develops and people get older, you respond differently to psychotropic medications. And so it's one of those things. It's not passing the buck or barriers to care. It's more about not assuming responsibility for someone whose needs we may not be able to meet. So
That's helpful. Thanks.
I was going to say, Dr. Parker is a psychiatrist for individuals over the age of 65, looking for a geriatric psychiatrist, someone that specializes in geri psych is more appropriate.
Thank you. Barbara, did you have a question? I saw you came off mute.
No, I'm actually a retired social worker myself. And I actually, Jane Allen was my social work manager at Meadowview when she was there. So right now I'm just doing part-time community. I'm a CHW for the Virginia Department of Health. So I wanted to see this video because I know with the pandemic, it was a lot of depression and anxiety coming about. So I just wanted to see, what was out there that when I'm out in the community doing outreach work that I could use for a resource for people in the community.
Well, thank you for joining us, and happy Social Work Month.
Thank you.
So I have included our contact information, and as I mentioned, most of my referrals come from Dr. Parker, but not always. So feel free to give us a call.
I do this information that you provided, would it be available later on, where we could like print it off, especially I was, the different types of mindset and all of that. Would that information be available where we could print it off later?
So the video is going to be posted. I'm not sure if the actual PowerPoint is available. I can tell you I pulled most of the definitions directly off NAMI.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We are about at time, but if anybody else has a question, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll close.
Okay, well, thank you. And it was very informative, and I did enjoy the presentation.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And just to let you all know, this is our last virtual session. We'll be moving back to in-person next month. So April 25th, we'll have Dr. Vega, our new OBGYN, will be discussing women's health. And that'll be in person at the Care Building education classrooms. But we'll be posting that information on our website and Facebook.
Okay.
So we look forward to seeing you in person next month if you're able to make it.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Nellie. We appreciate your expertise and for spending time with us. And like she said, we'll be posting this recording on our website and Facebook page. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.